Welcome back to FET Crypto. My name is Chase, level 1 CMT and full-time trader. Today we're going to look at an update on Fetch by popular request. We're going to start off on the daily chart, then we're going to zoom out to the weekly. We're going to look at fib extensions, look at all the short-term daily points that we need to be watching for to start to gain traction for the bulls again. And then we're finally going to zoom out to the monthly macro chart. I'm going to show you something pretty impressive on the fib extension. All right, so we're zoomed in on the daily chart. We are beneath the 200 EMA, this pink line right here. Until we get back above that, we want to remain cautiously optimistic, but more or less, you can't get too bullish until we flip that. It's been since June, since we've been closing candles above there. Not only that, but look what's happened here. The 618 on this fib scale, right? Assuming the lows are in, which we put our low in the first week of August, you can loosely see how that 618 and this zone is kind of flipped from support, right? Look at all these areas to resistance. We flipped it right there. When we got that was our last closing candles above the 200. And this is a zone not to be taken lightly when we get back to it. So, as we're gaining strength here, we're up 2x off the lows already, right? We put in a low of 70 cents. Nice bounce, but look at where we're rejecting here, right? Right at the 200. Again, where are we now? Right at the 200. If we move back down, no big deal. We want to maintain our higher low structures, so we sure as hell don't want to go back below, the dollar area, okay? But as long as we can remain in a little bit of an uptrend, putting it high, right? We got to come back up. We have a higher low. Right from this low, we need to take out the high. We need to put on a high. Anywhere above the 200 gets us that. And not only a higher high, but it would do just that, what we've been looking at. Look, get above the 200 EMA. That's a sign that the bulls are starting to take over a little bit more bigly. All right, so having said that, how high could we go on the fib extension? Well, the 1618 on this move from the March highs to our August lows, the 1618 takes us to 938. I think that's a pretty good target. So if you're wanting higher, doesn't mean we can't go higher. But from current prices, $1.32 roughly, right? We're looking at still a 7x away from current prices. You have to also remember that Fetch has done quite remarkable in this bull run. Since we started the bull run, arguably, last week of December, early January, right from low to high, it's done a subtle 37 plus X. All right, so let's keep that in mind already, that just because where you bought in and everyone promised you 100X from wherever the exact price you bought in at, doesn't mean that that's necessarily so. But could we potentially still get to the 1618? Of course. Could we get to the 2618? Now we're starting to stretch. It's possible, but it's starting to get out of the realm. Not necessarily that it can't potentially go from where we are now to another 35x, even though it's already done that from low to high. But look at the difference, right? From the start of the bull run, we're just going to go arbitrarily off the January there. That would be quite impressive of a move. It's possible, but 50,000%'s kind of stretching it. Not a whole lot of coins have ever done that. In the realm of one cycle, so to speak, okay? So keep that in mind as we get up there. But the daily chart, as long as we maintain our low structure here, right? Our lows should be in. We just retested this zone. The previous high resistance becomes new low support. Textbook, great there. And, next, let's look out at the bigger picture, right? So now we can remove this. Let's clear up the chart a little bit. And where do we go? Well, again, let's take off all the moving averages and clean it up here, right? So look at this. If you don't have any moving averages, you're just working off price structure. And how about just closing prices, right? Where would you think after a top like this, where we would fall to? Well, that looks like a pretty good spot. Did we do it with a close? No. But you could see the wicks absolutely cross with each other, right? Absolutely, right in there. That's the obvious spot, and it held. So great sign for Fetch. A lot of altcoins did this. You want to be aware of coins that took out these lows. That's a sign of weakness. And you might ask, well, why didn't we go down all the way down here? That was kind of our previous peak. Well, also, like we've already done that, right? Our previous Swing high resistance was the breakout. This was the throwback. What is a throwback? Is when you have a price breakout to new highs, right? We took out these highs, and you throw back a bullish retest of the previous zone to make sure the bulls are ready. We did that by the book, and this is the by the book move that you get. Now, because of this was the macro top, not only on Fetch, but crypto wide, right? Everything bleeds down, but the structure is what you want to be watching for here. Coins that maintain structure, and Fetch did exactly that. So great, kudos to Fetch on that. What is our next area of interest? Well, for the bulls, like we've talked about on the daily frame, is that 100 EMA, not too much higher. Look at the 21 EMA, the yellow line. We have also not closed above that since, you guessed it, June. Previous low wicks, new high wicks. Close above the 21 EMA, and we can start to gain traction. As of right now, it's $1.35, $1.36. Okay, that's what we're looking for this week, next week, whenever week. Get above and close above the 21 week, and we can start to really put in the upwards moving candles. Like, how about a repeat of this? That would be great. 67% week. That was pretty good, right? So good recovery so far. Now let's talk about that fib extension that, as promised, right? Remember the weekly, right? Our swing high to low, right? The 930 area for the 1618. But what's remarkable is if you zoom way the hell out here, right, on the weekly, let's go to the monthly to make it a little bit more clear and concise here, right? Picture perfect. Look how amazing this is, right? We have the fib from our macro high back in 2021 to our low in November 2022. Look how remarkably close these 1618s are. This is going to be a likely, if not the top, it's going to be a damn spot where it's very likely to show some major resistance. So around the 830 to 930 mark, if you're happy with your gains, might want to consider taking some profit there, to say the least. You get two fibs lining up pretty damn close and years apart. I think that's going to be a pretty important level. I thought that was pretty fantastic. And not only that, what if we clear all this out? Speaking of price structure and what you want to be doing, a move, a throwback to the 21-month EMA with holding closing prices above it is beyond bullish. A new breakout. Remember all those charts we just looked at on the shorter time frames, the weekly, the throwback? Look at this. Same thing. A breakout to new prices, a throwback holding key 21-month moving averages, and starting to bounce. Fetch could do very well in the not so distant future. We're just looking for a Bitcoin dominance top, give altcoins some room to run, and all bets are off. Fetch, I would be shocked if we don't at least knock on the door of that 830 to 930 range, which is still a considerable move higher from here, right? So even to 830 area, we're still looking at over a 6x away, okay? 6-7x from current prices, absolutely doable. I'd be shocked if we don't. Could we go higher? Of course. How high? The 2618's up at 40 something. Could we potentially do that? We'll see how well Fetch gets off to the start once alt season kicks in. All right, our quote of the day. Live as brave men, and if fortune is adverse, front its blows with brave hearts. Be brave, I think is the underlying message there. And no matter what. Car of the day, Aston Martin Vantage. My favorite supercar under 200K, brand new. There's not a whole lot of supercars you can buy for under 200K brand new, but this is one of them. And absolutely my favorite. I love, not a huge fan of the lights up front, but the rear, it makes up for it. There's the rear taillights, and I happen to have a model here. Here we go. This is actually like chartreuse color, so it's like highlighter yellow, so if it doesn't show up, I know it's showing up gray because of that, because I have a green screen behind me, right? But there you go. Look at that taillight. Pretty amazing. The Vantage, best supercar, in my opinion, made, and probably one of the only ones for under 200K, but damn.
Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy. Damn.